What's going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in. CHGO Bulls Postgame coming to you remote from a few various locations on Christmas Eve. Bulls fall to the Cavs, ending their winning streak. 109-95 is the final. I'm Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. My guy, Big Dave, BWL Sports. Dave, I just noticed that you have a red mic base and I have a black mic base, so our mics are like Bulls colors.
And that's, okay, that works.
I like it.
I like it a lot. Just wiping the dust off mine, I just realized how dusty it was on here, man. Like, that's not a thing. It's not like I don't use the mic all the time. I was just on the Rebuildable podcast, like you were. I was just on that show, so definitely not dusty.
Shout out to Matt Gentile. And
I do have something to tell y'all. So earlier today,
hold on. Our pal producer, Joey Spathis, on the controls behind the scenes. Not in a Dexter killing lab.
Not in a Dexter killing. That is very important to say. Shout out Joey 1.1K.
Continue.
He is everybody's safe. Let's just say that. Everyone's safe. That we know of. Earlier today, I went to the studio. Because this is how out of it I was. I've been out of it. Like, I was completely out of it. I showed up at the studio talking to Mario outside, walked him inside, and I walked in. It's just the Blackhawks in there, and they're like, "Hey, what you doing here?" And I'm like, "We got a game. What you mean?" And I was like, "Oh, wait, what?" they were like, "Yeah, y'all are remote." And I was like, "Oh shit, we're remote." So I had to go get in my car, go right back home. And you know why I was completely off? Because I walked in, I left my hat in the car. I didn't even have a hat on. So I was just walked in without no hat. I was just in there, chilling. That basically sums up what the Chicago Bulls were today. A team with no hat.
It was a team with no hat tonight. It's a bummer. We can get to our thoughts on tonight's game. Thanks, y'all, for joining us in the comments on YouTube. Hit the like button. Thanks for joining us on this Christmas Eve holiday. Shout out to Emaine, who said, "What's up, my CHGO fam?" Unfortunately, we can't talk about a win as we enter the holiday weekend, but I feel like you kind of have to call this one a schedule loss, Dave. It's not great that it was against the Cavs team missing 4 of its top scorers. I mean, you already are dealing with the Darius Garland long-term injury. Mobley's out. Donovan Mitchell is a late scratch because of illness. And then also, oh, by the way, Karis LeVert's not playing. Like, this was Max Strus, Jarrett Allen, and a bunch of nobodies. No offense to them. It seemed like a schedule loss because it was their 4th game in 6 nights. Very brutal December schedule. And they just kind of looked lethargic. Their shots weren't falling. But to me, I don't want to give them a full pass for the schedule loss because this is a very winnable game against a very shorthanded team. And if the Bulls just take care of the defensive glass tonight, you might be looking at a win despite the fact that you didn't shoot all that well because neither did Cleveland.
Yeah, they shot about 26% from the three-point line after a pretty hot start from them in the first half. But they hit the timely threes in that fourth quarter. The Chicago Bulls, not so much. Their three-point shooting was bad. But you're right, Matt. Let me get that stuff out the way because it was a part of it. Fourth game in 6 nights. These guys do play a ton of minutes, a lot, and you kind of saw it kind of rearing its ugly head tonight. Guys were kind of just gassed, like the effort wasn't there for that team tonight. When you're getting out-rebounded, outworked. I believe Jarrett Allen had 17 rebounds or something like that. Like, it wasn't great as far as the team effort that they put in on the glass. Really no fast break points for that team either. They weren't running, and that's where the Bulls kind of bread and butter is with a team full of guards is they get the ball and they run. And they weren't able to do that. A lot of standing around. Just kind of looked like a team that couldn't wait to get a break. Honestly, that's how they looked. So, so we got that part out the way. So still, in fact, though, you still, look like trash against a team you should have beaten. Like, you still should have beaten this squad for sure. I get it. Schedule loss. I thought Max Strus was going to have that kind of game today too, Matt. He had, like they kept saying, his family had the suite and all that. But a couple of those plays that they gave up, man, were just really bad defense. The Bulls, I now can say it's a real issue, the back cut that continues to happen to this team. It's been happening all season. But it really was on full display because you just saw the Cavs executing. That's all they did. It was like high school basketball, just execution. That's all it was. Back cuts, picks, guys slipping screens, pick and rolls. It was just, they just executed them to death. That's all Max Strus did. He just, the back cut he had on Io for the and one on the baseline. We saw that a couple of times from Wade as well. So for me, it was just that simple. Like, they got outworked, and it was the effort just was not there for that team. And you can't excuse that. I understand they were tired, but if they're tired, then, get somebody else in there who's going to have that effort for the team. But yeah, they didn't have it tonight.
Shout out to our guy AK with a super chat in the comments who said Bulls playing their 31st game tonight, most of any NBA team, which is true. Fourth game in 6 nights. It showed lethargic legs, little player ball movement, and mental fatigue were big factors. Couldn't buy a 3. On to the next. Mac for a better tomorrow, also in the comments saying the offense looked super stagnant tonight. I mean, that third quarter in particular, like it was what? I think it was like 56, 55 or 57, 56. It was a
1.57, 56, yes.
Right, yeah. And the third quarter, that Bulls offense, just like the wheels fell off. It just like they couldn't do anything. And I know that we've been given some due praise to your boy Dalen Terry for his recent stretch of games getting minutes, but man, like he was trying to fight people to make jump balls happen, and I will credit him for that. But the spacing is bad when Dalen is out there, and credit to him, he tried to take a 3 or maybe he took 2, missed badly, and then you saw when the ball was moving and it got to him, and the proper solution would have been for that player in Dalen's spot who is open to take a 3 because they're open. Dalen passed it up, and then the offensive possession went nowhere because he was afraid to shoot it.
Yeah, and if you saw some of my text messages I was sending to friends, that's literally what I said in the fourth quarter. I said Dalen shouldn't be out there right now because he's not a willing shooter. He didn't want to, after he missed those 2 shots, he didn't want to take anymore. And I don't care. You know me, man. I don't care if you throw it in the ocean, but you have to keep the floor balance. Shoot the ball. That's what DeMar is doing. Just shoot it. You have to shoot the basketball. You can't allow those misses to deter you from doing that because you're throwing off the whole team and not just yourself. So, yeah, I was completely like, yeah, I don't think he should be in here right now. I appreciate the minutes for sure. And I know why Billy had him in there because, again, you needed some energy. You needed, somebody who wanted to actually play and make an effort out there. And he was doing that. But I thought it was in a little too long because of that reason that you just stated. I completely agree with you. Yeah, he should not have been in there because he didn't want to shoot the 3. For me, it wasn't that he couldn't hit it. He just wouldn't shoot it. And I can't afford that, in that game against the team they were going up against.
Yeah. AK also mentioning in the comments that speaking of Billy looking for solutions tonight, maybe looking to Dalen for a little energy punch when the team looked lethargic. Also going to the very rarely seen and very rarely used Vooch Drummond combo in the front court for this Cavs team that is big. Even missing Mobley, this is a big Cavs team. And, I mean, they were crushing the Bulls on the glass. We praised the Bulls in our pregame show on Thursday about how in this recent stretch of 10 or 11 games when they've been winning a lot, they have become, in that stretch, the best offensive rebounding team in the NBA. And kudos to them for that. The same is not true for the Bulls on the defensive glass this season. They have been very subpar, and they were just flat out bad on the defensive boards tonight. 30-4, I think. Ooh. It was like towards the end of the fourth when the Cavs got yet another bucket when Stacey rattled off that stat again. I think that's the last time I heard it. 30-4 in second chance points. Second chance. Like, you made Billy go to a Vooch Drummond scenario because you were getting your asses kicked on the glass that badly.
Yeah, and you know why I liked it? For 2 reasons. Because non-beholden Billy reared his head again, and I love non-beholden Billy. Like, when he don't care. He's going to try anything with the lineup. But 2, a lot of basketball analytic guys' brains broke in half out there, and I was just laughing the whole time. I'm like, oh, I know some people are going insane right now. Their analytic brain are just not going to be able to compute this or comprehend it. But I got why he did it. But like you said, like offensive rebounds, Matt, 15-5 was the offensive rebounding numbers. So that's why those second chance points were so high for Cleveland. They were killing the Bulls on that. But again, that is effort. That is simply put effort on the glass from those guys. So yeah, like I get it. He put it in, and like I said, it just made me laugh. It really did just really make me laugh, man. But he had to try something to try to stem the tide on his team and try to get some offensive rebounding going on, because it wasn't clicking for him.
Speaking of that interesting choice from Billy, our guy Nothing But Bull in the comments saying Billy still sucks. And our guy the Duke with a super chat who said, also Billy, Cole in your stocking. No wait, Cole is too valuable. Cow turds. Santa, bring him an overflowing stocking with warm, runny cow turds. Well, that certainly paints a picture, doesn't it? Look, I mean, I don't necessarily think that this was a coaching loss tonight. Like, look, I am someone who does not love seeing Vooch and Drummond out on the floor at the same time. I'm not going to murder him for that. I'm not going to murder him for any of the rotation decisions he made tonight. The Bulls were tired. They looked like a tired team that was looking forward to their Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, 2 days off. That's what the team looked like. They couldn't knock down any shots. They couldn't grab any rebounds. Yeah. Game over. Yeah. End of game. That's not Billy.
I completely agree. Yeah, it definitely looked like that kind of team. I don't know how deep into the bench people thought he could go or wanted to go, but he tried. Javon Carter was not on it. You know, his shot wasn't falling tonight, so it was hard to put him in because he becomes a liability on the other end of the floor. So since his shot wasn't falling like that, your only other options, I believe, are Julian Phillips. You can put in
and Terry Taylor,
like
Torrey Craig's. And they did have Henry Drell with them tonight, actually, because I think he checked in for like the last 30 seconds of garbage time.
So yeah, like your options were pretty limited because he was running 9-10 deep out there, and guys just didn't have it. Like they were tired and they wanted to go to sleep. Coby White being out 0 of 7, I believe, from the 3-point line is probably the biggest thing you can point to in that. You're like, okay, Coby, you're not 0 for 7. That's not a guy that you are, because you saw his mid-range game working, getting to the cup, getting his mid-range shot, but he was turning the ball over also. He was getting caught up in a lot of things on the offensive end where he couldn't make his proper move. The turnovers that he had a carry turnover and everything. Like, it was just completely off for those guys. And Patrick Williams, I give love to Patrick Williams. I like how he played. He did what he could, I guess, out there for the team. He's the one that was hitting the 3-point shots. Vooch did a solid job, I thought, scoring, trying to keep them in the game as well.
Yeah.
But no 3-point shooting, Matt, and no rebounding, as you said. Like, it's really a done deal, for this team and in this league if you can't do those things.
Yeah, AJ Katz in the comments said, not sure which postgame is going to be most brutal. This one, the Blackhawks one, or the Bears one tomorrow. God bless the fans in our city. We don't deserve this garbage. I mean, I don't know what Bears fans are rooting for tomorrow. Are they rooting for a win? I mean,
I'm rooting for a win, and I just want to see Justin play, but I'm not like, angry if they don't. Like, it's okay.
Also, did you see that goal Connor Bedard scored tonight? Because
listen, if the Bulls won, he was gonna get half of that goon of the night just for that goal, man.
Dude,
he was gonna get half, bro. Like, that was crazy, dog. Like, that's one of my favorite ways to score in hockey is that move right there, because you don't see it as often. You see it more in college, I think. Than you do see it in pros. But yeah, that dude's 18 years old, ladies and gentlemen. That dude is good, yo. He's scary.
Circling back to the coaching performance from Billy tonight, Nothing But Bull not giving up, saying, yeah, but Billy played a non-center lineup for most of the second quarter. That's on Billy. I mean, fair counterpoint, no one was grabbing rebounds. Drummond was getting beat underneath. Vooch was getting beat underneath. I think Vooch did have double-digit rebounds, but like, and Drummond was doing his thing on the offensive glass that he always does. But it didn't matter. The Wolves could not grab a defensive rebound to save their life, and I don't think it was like purely because of lack of size. And then Billy made that call to go two centers in his lineup to address it that way, and even that didn't work. Because guess what? From the beginning, like from the first quarter jump ball to the end of the game, the Bulls were getting worked on their defensive boards all night, regardless of what Billy was doing.
all night. And I mean, Drummond had 2 offensive rebounds. That led the way, by the way. Like that can't be the case. Like that's a problem. He's also a -10 along with Boots being a -12. I'm just saying, like, those guys were tired, man. Like, that's really what I looked at it as. And Billy just was trying anything. When he was going with no center, that means that I'm desperate. I'm trying anything, bro. Like, somebody give me a spark here. We got to hit these shots. We got to get some steals. Fine, no center, great. Fine, 2 centers, great. Like, he was trying anything out there on the floor. I can't be mad at that because nothing was really working for the Bulls, because no matter what you're putting out there, if that effort isn't there, doesn't really matter the lineup that you got. Like, the effort wasn't available and wasn't shown by the Bulls tonight is honestly the reason they couldn't get this win. But these guys were beat, man. These guys were tired, and they really wanted to go home and be with their families. And you were at home here in Chicago, so it's not like you got to take a flight. So you're right around. You just want to go lay in your bed again and do that. They were gassed. We saw it last game, Matt. If we're gonna be real about it, we saw it last game. They just happened to turn it on in the fourth quarter, and get that victory. But they did this same kind of thing. It's just this one was for the whole game, and it feels like they played down to the competition. Something the Bulls have done historically, in recent history, I should say. They have done that, and it never works out, for them when they do that. But yeah, man, they did not have it tonight, guys.
I can't remember who in my Twitter feed said it tonight at some point when the Bulls were struggling. They were like, "Oh man, like I'm just, so sick of the fact that the Bulls play down to their competition." And my thought was, well, it's been a minute since we've even been able to say that. Like play down. Like, no, if anything, Bulls have been playing down to the Bulls so far this season, but in this recent stretch they're turning things around. And that's why this game did kind of have trap game written all over it, because you're like, oh, they're like, the Cavs are missing 4 key guys. We're at home. We're on a roll. Bulls should win this one. Yeah. So of course they don't. We got to take our first break, then we'll come back, get to more thoughts on tonight's game, hear from y'all. We'll also hear from our guy, Will Gottlieb, later on in tonight's post-game show from the UC. While we're doing that, you know what to do. Smash that like button. If you're hanging out, do it for our guy, Joey.
Do it. You know what, Matt?
Yeah.
Now it's coming time. I know it's the holiday season.
It is.
Everybody's got lights up. You know what I mean? Everybody's making runs to the store. But I think if you're going to be using all that energy, it's time to save you some money and get smarter about it, guys, because it's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That's something that we can all get behind for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it.
That's right, Dave. That's why having comment around is just so wonderful. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have a 1 delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help you can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
So what should business owners do, Matt?
Let me tell you, Dave.
Go
to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, 1, good for you. That's cool. 2, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for us all. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Did you say ComEd.com/clean?
That's right, Dave. ComEd.com/clean. Go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
Oh, those generations.
So many generations, Dave. Tonight's CHGO Bulls Postgame also brought to you by our friends at Ray Chevy. Our partner, Ray Chevrolet, is having their biggest sale of the year right now. Ding time right now. Make your way to Ray Chevrolet on Route 12 in Fox Lake to join in on the savings for their model year-end sales event. As one of the top-selling Chevy dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories. But right now, they're trying to make room for incoming 2024 models, so all their current inventory must go. Plus, you find the perfect tailgate vehicle at Ray Chevy because they have over 100 new Silverados in stock. And that's not all. Get 0% financing with $0 down. Zero. down and 0 payments until spring 2024. Or save $3,000 on a new Chevy Blazer, $4,000 on an Equinox, or over $10,000 on a Silverado. And to top it all off, they're pricing over 125 vehicles under $20,000. Seriously, guys, can pricing get more affordable? Rhetorical question. No, it can't. And I know everybody loves word free this time of year with all the holiday spending. You can get yourself a free oil change if you make an appointment at Ray Chevy just by mentioning, hey, CHGO, they're cool people. Y'all are cool people. I am also a cool person. Could I have a free oil change, please? And they'll say, absolutely, yes, you can. You just got to book before December 31st, 2023. Visit Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com to get your model year-end savings. They've been serving the community since 1963. Dave,
you got somebody in the house.
What? You got somebody in the house?
Somebody's in the house.
Oh!
Somebody's in
we
the
do.
building.
You know what? Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in now, baby. Let's go.
Baby. Let's do it, man. Run that, Joey. Run that, Joe. Bring that man in.
Oh!
Hey! Look at him.
There he is. It's our guy, Will Gottlieb, with the NBA background and everything. Follow him on Twitter, Will.
The bowels of the UC.
Yes. I love when you use the phrase bowels of the UC. I don't know. It doesn't bug me as much as you would think it would with the usage of the word bowels, but
bowel sports.
Will, we were just sitting here chatting about how this was kind of a schedule loss, fourth game in 6 nights. This Bulls team looked tired tonight. They didn't shoot well tonight. They didn't rebound well tonight. Are you taking anything away from it beyond that?
Yeah, I am actually. I mean, I think you're right that they looked pretty tired. They looked kind of dead legs, as you said, 4 and 6, coming off of the back-to-back as well. Obviously, I had a game off here before tonight's game, but the way that the Cavs were running around the court, I think also did not help. I mean, they were chasing Strus and Dean Wade and Craig Porter all over the place. And yeah, I mean, I think as much as like Coby and Pat are young guys, like the minutes that they're shouldering right now with Zach and with Torrey Craig and with Caruso missing time from game to game, like it's gotten to be a lot. And I think they're pretty tired. DeMar, I think especially just as he ages, is going to have a harder time keeping up on these sorts of stretches. It's like time off in between games is going to become big for him. And I think Billy wanted to ride him a little bit more in this game because it felt like they were right there the whole time. But to me, like the takeaway was this team is like still not good enough to be, rolling the ball out and feeling like they can beat mediocre or good teams on a night-to-night basis. Like they still have a lot of work to do in order to secure these wins. And I think they're capable of it the way that they're playing. But tonight, like the ball was just not really popping. They're getting killed on the offensive glass. They were giving up threes. They were giving up free throws. It just was not the right recipe. And I think it's a 1-game sample. You don't want to, make too much of it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just a reminder that like, yes, they've played well in their last 11 games, but that does not mean that all of a sudden they're contenders. Like they have to bring it every single night. And I think they're capable of winning games like this, but they can't just like, walk out there and expect to win. Not saying that was necessarily their mindset, but when you're playing a team without its 3 best players, I think it is a little bit easier to fall into that trap, especially 4 games in 6 nights.
Well, talk to me about how much you loved watching Andre Drummond and Nikola Vucevic out there on the floor together.
It's funny because Billy, I think it was last game, so against the Spurs on Thursday night, when Billy pregame said that was not something he was going to do again. He was like, that just doesn't really work. Most teams, and I think part of it is like you're matching what other teams are doing. Like not a lot of teams are playing lineups that would require you to play 2 bigs. But yeah, I mean, they were just getting destroyed on the offensive glass and he just had enough with it. So he threw Drum out there with Vooch, and I think they like went +2 in their first stint. Not sure how it went in their second in terms of plus minus, but then he also went to a small ball lineup with Dalen Terry at the 5. And I asked him about that, and he was just kind of like, we were getting killed on the offensive glass, and Vooch and Drummond together didn't really solve the problem. So I wanted to try to like jumpstart the offense somehow. And so I went with a smaller lineup with Dalen at the 5, where we could just switch everything and try to get out and run, and that didn't work. And it just kind of like sums up the whole night, where just nothing really felt like it was coming easy. The comment I made just chatting with Casey while watching the game was like, the Cavs were just getting all these system buckets, right? Like guys coming off of pin downs and shooting threes, and then slipping out of screens and getting layups as a result of the extra attention that the shooters would get coming off those screens. Craig Porter was just kind of like knifing his way into the paint and just getting up those like little, Luka Doncic kind of deceleration, like fadeaway shots from like 8 feet away. And the Bulls just didn't get any of those. It was like I think they were trying to move the ball up the court. Like you saw them throw the way that I'm tracking it is like you have the rebound and then the outlet pass. And then is there another pass before you get across half court? And you're seeing a lot of those. Like it's still happening, but it didn't like lead to anything tonight. And they weren't able to draw 2, and they weren't moving the ball quick enough to beat the Cavs rotations. And it just felt like everything was kind of bogged down. And I think that's going to happen. Like it's hard to play snappy, crisp, like ball moving basketball every night. It just doesn't always work that way. And so on nights where that's not the case, how do you find a way to win? And I think against the Spurs, they were able to find a way to win. The 3-point shot wasn't really falling, but they kind of kept the Spurs off the line. They rebounded the ball well, and they made a lot of 2s. And tonight, just nothing was really going for them.
Will, you shared a video from your Twitter account before the game of Julian Phillips working on his handles on the Bulls court, and a lot of Bulls fans really liked that video, and so did I. And I don't know if Billy has addressed this yet again recently, but it seemed for a while like Julian Phillips was ahead of Daniel Terry in the rotation, and then over the last handful of games, it seems like that has flipped. Julian Phillips did not play tonight. Can you tell us what you think is going on there?
Yeah, I wish I knew. I mean, I think in some ways Billy's just kind of trying to ride what's working, and if it's not working, then he's just like willing to kind of throw the script out the window and try to go for it with, Dalen at the 5. Like, I mean, I think he's trying stuff. To me, Julian, like the game is just so fast for him. Like you'll watch him out there and he's just like a water spider. He's just like jittering around on the court, and it's like too fast for him to even like process. And I heard KC talking about this on the Bulls Talk podcast, that like Patrick and Coby or Io or something in the locker room after the game were saying like in garbage time, they really wanted to get Julian to take a shot because he passed up an open 3. And I think it's just one of those things where the game is moving so fast. And obviously I think he's got a really interesting skill set, and I think he'll get there, but it's just the processing of the speed of the game. And I think when you're playing against a team that's moving as quickly as the Cavs were, trying to, come off the screens, and the Spurs are one of the fastest teams in the league in terms of transition, shooting threes and things like that. It's kind of tough to have a young player like that out there if they're going to be a step or 2 behind on every play. So I definitely want to see more of Julian, and it's really cool to see him working on his ball handling. He was doing a drill that's Ty Abbott, who was one of the player development coaches who I talked to for my big feature on the player development staff. And they were doing that set of drills to see who could complete like 10 of those cycles first. And then they did that 5 times. And so they were kind of like joking around because Ty beat him in that one, segment of it. So I definitely think he's working hard, but to me, it's just like, it's a processing thing. It's a experience thing. And he's getting reps in the G League. He's going down to Windy City. And I think his time will come, but it's just, to me, that's the big thing for him.
Will, something I've noticed, I talked about earlier on the show, but something I've noticed all season is how the Bulls are getting worked, especially on back cuts. And I think when they play these teams like Miami, like Cleveland, or even San Antonio, who are teams that are really good at executing, and you see them running these back cuts in these plays, they're really getting like free, 4 or 6 points a game by doing that. What do you think that is that the Bulls haven't been able to figure that part out? Is it just guys are just out of position? Is it guys are just really young and don't know it's coming? What do you feel the reason for that is?
on synergy, you can sort by different play types, and cutting is one of them. So I'm looking at how opposing teams against the Bulls score on cuts. They average 1.337 points per possession, which sounds really good, and that is really good. But for cutting, it's like an average rank. It says it's in the 33rd percentile. So that's just a very efficient form of offense in general. But it seems like the Bulls are only allowing 5.8% of opponents. That's accounting for only 5.8% of total offense from opponents. So it is one of the higher categories for the Bulls. And, that's just kind of like looking into the numbers behind it. But in terms of what I'm like actually seeing on the court, the Bulls are not one of those teams that just has 5 like lockdown stoppers out there and they just all defend one-on-one. They defend with 5. They are a system defense. They try to plug the gaps. They try to funnel it to Vooch at the point of attack, and they try to get over screens. And sometimes when you are like shrinking in the court, you can to try to like take away driving lanes, you can lose track of the guy you're guarding. And I think that's an opportunity for guys to back cut. I also think the way that they try to get over screens, like I was talking about with Max Strus, if he's coming off of a pin down and you're defending him, you lock and trail. So you're on his back and you go over the screen with him. And if Jarrett Allen is setting a screen for Strus coming over the screen and Vooch is guarding Jarrett Allen, he's got to hedge over to try to take away the dribble handoff or the pass to Strus. And that opens up a cutting lane for Jarrett Allen. And I think a lot of times they can give those up too. And so much of the Bulls defense is predicated on trying to cut things off at the point of attack. But if they don't do it well, it definitely opens you up, I think, to some backdoor cuts, whether it's, like I said, from a big man diving or from, the slot or the corner. But that's just, that's part of it. Like NBA defense is so difficult and you can't take away everything. So you have to pick where you think is going to be like the most efficient. And for the Bulls, that means trying to take away the paint. And that's what they try to do. But sometimes it comes at the expense of some cuts.
Will, I'm curious, I didn't notice at any point with any of the shots of the Bulls bench in the broadcast, was Zach LaVine at tonight's game, sitting on the bench?
Yeah, I saw him on the bench. I also saw him at practice this morning. He was there.
Right. There seemed to be some sort of update about Zach's status at morning shoot around. Can you tell us what you know?
No update. He was, I think a couple days ago, maybe before the Laker game, we talked to Billy and he said that he had started doing some running, but no full speed sprinting and no like cutting, no full speed cutting. So, saw him moving around a little bit today at practice, but I think end of next week, we'll have another sort of evaluation. I think that's when they'll look to start ramping him up again. So, still got a little bit more time, but yeah, who knows what happens on the trade market and how that develops. But yeah, personally, and this is not like sourced or anything like that, I just at this point would not be surprised if we start to see Zach back out there with the Bulls.
Wow.
Gotta play,
I don't know how to feel.
And
about
it's nights like tonight where you kind of you realize you kind of
Exactly.
miss that scoring burst. Like that you can't. It's so difficult to play that sort of style for 48 minutes every single game.
Right.
It's not sustainable 82 times. So Zach's going to have to buy into it. He's going to have to be willing to put some of that individual scoring aside at moments to be able to play that style as much as possible. But there's also going to be times where, DeMar was pretty tired tonight and he played extra minutes because he was the only one that could score in isolation. And it's kind of nice to have a second guy who can do that. And that's not to take away from Coby, who I thought was awesome. Obviously, like his 3-point streak came to an end, but he was 0 of 8 from deep, and that means he was 8 of 11 inside the arc. I thought he just did a really fantastic job kind of probing, taking those little fadeaway 8-10 foot shots and then getting all the way to the rim. So obviously there's still a ton of room for growth for Coby. I think he's going to continue to step into more of that, but certainly on nights like tonight where you're, shooting 43% from the field, 23% from 3, you kind of miss that scoring burst.
Yeah.
Will, thank you for joining us, buddy. Everybody out there, Bulls Nation, make sure you're reading everything Will writes covering the Bulls for us, allchgo.com. Follow him for all of his Bulls updates on Twitter, Will_Gottlieb. Will, enjoy the rest of your holiday weekend. Get home safe tonight, and we will talk to you on Tuesday when the Bulls reconvene.
I will talk to you guys then. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to all of our listeners, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. That's Will Gottlieb. Let's take a quick ad break. We'll come back. We'll get to more of y'all's thoughts on tonight's game, some super chats. Maybe talk a little bit more about the Zach thing, because I think that's an interesting hypothetical. While we're doing that, you know what to do. Hit that thumb. Do it for Joseph. Tonight's CHGO Bulls Postgame brought to you by our friends at Empire. We can't get a goon of the night every night, which is sad. But even when we don't have a goon of the night, we can still tell you about these incredible deals you can get from Empire, who have the best flooring services and products available to you. With Empire today, you get shopping home convenience, the right product for your needs, quick and professional installation, and a low price guarantee. Empire today is the best place to get new flooring, so of course they have copycats amongst their competitors. But Empire can't be beaten on their quality, they can't be beaten on their service or their speed. So all competitors do is advertise low basement pricing for crap flooring. That's all it is. It's crap flooring. Empire wouldn't put it in their homes. They're not going to put it in yours. They also have a very cool feature called the Virtual Floor Designer that lets you see what different types of flooring would look like in different spaces and rooms in your home with the simple click of taking a picture. So you can see how it looks with the decor in your home, with the lighting in various rooms. A wonderful feature that makes it easier to shop flooring and find the right products for you. They pride themselves on their convenient shop at home service, helping customers shop for floors where they use their floors. They also service all of their own warranties, so if any problems arise, all you got to do is call Empire, and they'll come take care of it. No third-party manufacturers, none of that nonsense. Schedule a free mess with today. All CHGO Bulls listeners can receive a $350 discount when they use promo code CHGO. $350 off your new flooring. Nice. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details. 588-2300 Dave.
Empire
Today.
I like that one.
Maybe I should shop for some new flooring after the holidays.
Hey, man, I don't think it's a bad idea. But I'll tell you what also should happen. People hitting the gym, getting themselves right for the new year, man, because it's that time, y'all. Couple weeks away from those New Year's resolutions. So make sure you get that holiday food in, get it in, and get yourself prepared for those resolutions of getting that body right and tight. And why not do it at the best athletic club around? That's right. It's the Midtown Athletic Club. They got 4 awesome locations. One in Palatine, that's in the northwest suburbs. Bannockburn in the North Shore. Willowbrook in the southwest suburbs. And the Midtown Athletic Club and Hotel in the middle of Bucktown and Lincoln Park. Matt Peck's sister approved. And the Midtown Palatine has launched a multi-million-dollar transformation of the club, which will be complete in early 2024, just in time for all those awesome resolutions that many of you are going to have and stick with. You're going to stick with it because I believe in you. Listeners can lock in favorable rates if they join before the end of the year. They got something for everybody at these clubs, y'all. Whether you're single, whether you're family with kids, whether you're people looking to make lifestyle changes, whether you're into holistic wellness, they got your back. Single people have been out there like our guy Carm. People with kids have been out there like our guy Kevin Kaduck and our guy Mario. They've been out there. They love the place. You know, people looking to make those lifestyle changes like our guy Herb Lawrence. Like everything, all of that has gone down at the Midtown Athletic Club, man. It is an incredible place. They have the super luxe locker rooms with the wet and dry saunas and the premium, you heard what I said, premium amenities, amazing outdoor and indoor pools, and of course, gotta have the hot tubs. Got to have it. Can't be an athletic club without it. And they have a collection of boutique fitness studios with more than 100 classes per week. That's included in your membership. Just some of the classes, y'all. They got the yoga. the boxing, the spinning cycling, the cross training, the group exercise, and the high intensity interval training. And of course, it isn't just gym quality. No. The spaces are boutique quality. And Adam Hogue raves about the tennis courts. You guys got to go check them out. They got the outdoor and the indoor tennis courts, and they are professional quality. Get on in there, get you some tennis, some pickleball, or some paddle tennis. Either way it goes, they got your back, y'all. So head over to the midtown.com/CHGO. That's midtown.com/CHGO to find out more and to tour the Midtown Athletic Club nearest you. The Midtown Athletic Club, y'all. Sweat it
out. Rolling along tonight, the last thought that Will left us with regarding a potential Zach LaVine return to the lineup. Because tonight's game was kind of blah. Let's talk about that because Bulls fans have a lot of feelings about it. Main Street Sports saying Zach is hurt, but they're playing better. Wait, are we keeping Zach? Many question marks. So a little context there. Like, obviously, we still have a lot of days and weeks between now and that February 8th trade deadline.
Yes.
But we've seen multiple reports from multiple sources, both local and national, in recent weeks when Zach's been sitting with this injury and still not been traded, that there is not exactly a robust market for Zach LaVine right now. I think Jake Fisher of Yahoo Sports and the latest he put out this morning said more of the same, that there is not the, gigantic banging down their door wealth of offers that the Bulls were maybe hoping for once they put a word out there that they and Zach are both open to trading him. So if that's the case, and then if this foot injury does heal, and then he is sitting for no reason other than, if he's healthy and he is on the team, then he's going to play. And I think that is what is giving some Bulls fans fear right now, Dave, because they are showing, not tonight, but in this stretch of 12 games, 8 of which have been wins, since he went to the sideline, that they seem to be playing a more cohesive style of basketball. They seem to be more engaged. They seem to have higher levels of effort on both ends of the floor. And it's a fun team to watch. And I think Bulls fans don't want to lose that. How do you feel about this?
I completely understand how they feel. I don't think it's wrong to feel that way, just going off of what you're seeing. Things are running smoothly for the Bulls up until tonight. Things were running very, very smoothly, man. So I completely get it. I completely understand it. But guys, you're going to need scoring. And every night, on some of these nights, you're going to need a guy who can just get his own bucket. And the fact that you have potentially 2 of those guys is an awesome thing. Now, the main question of it is, can Zach LaVine buy into the actual system? That is the entire question of it. Is Zach okay with, kind of spreading the floor and not clogging up certain lanes for Patrick Williams, to continue to do his thing, or for Coby to continue to do his thing and not just turn guys into outside shooters? Is he okay moving the ball? I think Zach can do it. I watched him do this with Team USA. I saw him do it. I saw him say they got a bunch of scorers on the team, and he said this himself, I'm just going to play defense. That's all he did. He said, I'm going to lock in defensively, and that's exactly what I'm going to do because that's what my team needs. Zach continually has said he's a team guy. He'll do whatever the team needs to win. He doesn't care about his numbers. He doesn't care about any of that stuff. I think it's time to actually show and prove it, because I saw it with Team USA, and it's easy to say that when you got Kevin Durant and all these other superstars with you. It's easy to say, you guys don't need my little 20 points. Well, of course not. You have one of the greatest scorers of all time on the team. I completely get that. But now on your own team, can you put in that belief in these guys that you have this trust in them? Because the ball is going to find its way to you no matter what. And that's what DeMar DeRozan is doing. If you watch it, they're just running their offense. They're doing their thing, but the ball always finds its way to them when the game gets close or when they can't score a bucket. Oh yeah, we got DeMar. Oh, here you go. Go to work. It could be that same way for Zach LaVine, who is absolutely a lethal scorer, who is more lethal on a catch and shoot. And God bless, I hope he knows that and he's seeing that. He sees it, man. My God, y'all know how much I scream catch and shoot. for Zach LaVine. So yes, there could be a place for him on his team, but the key word, Matt, is can he buy in? That is the key question. Are you okay having a game of 3 straight games where you might not get double-digit points, but you win by 15? Are you okay with that? Because you getting your numbers has not shown that it means something outside of the Chicago Bulls, because the market is what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. You got the numbers, everything is set. He's got all that, but these teams are still like, I don't know. So you have to not only show it for the Bulls that you can buy into that, but for your trade value as well, that you can be a guy that buys into that you can be a team guy. Because wherever you go, especially if you went to the Lakers, you'd be a third scorer. So you got to show that you can be like comfortable with these things. And I think he's comfortable with it, Matt, when it comes to superstars around him. He can do it then. It makes sense. But I think it's when in your head, like, dude, I'm way better than you. Give me the ball. And I can go do this. I think that's what's tough for him. But if he can do that, Matt, this team is so much better with a bought-in Zach LaVine.
And the interesting part, as our guy Rob in the comments said, do you really think watching the Coby-led Bulls is going to repair the rift between Zach and Billy, and that element of it too? And
winning does.
Maybe it does. But by all recent reports, the Zach Billy relationship is not good. Regardless of what they try to say to the media, it's not good. And that's part of the reason I think Zach is ready to be out. But speaking of Coby, and then just sort of like the power dynamics of this team and how it might reshift in a weird, confusing, and frustrating way. Will pointed out in one of his video breakdowns during the game tonight that basically Billy has taken Coby and this recent ascension and played and just slotted him into a lot of the stuff he runs as DeMar Zach two-man game stuff. He's running Coby as a screen setter like he would do for Zach, where then DeMar gets a favorable switch or a favorable, pass to the basket, or Zach and now Coby in that same action leaks out to the weak side for a pop-up opportunity, a catch-and-shoot opportunity. Coby is now doing the things in the Bulls offense that Zach was doing. Yes. So when Zach comes back, how does everyone handle that? I'm just saying, it's not – I don't think it's going to be pretty.
Yeah, and it might not be, Matt. But you especially in saying – and I have to talk like this because we know the Bulls want to go to the playoffs, and I do too. But they want to go to the playoffs. And, guys, in the playoffs, you're going to have bucket getters. Like, your system is going to be cool. Your system is what it is. But when teams start putting you on the whiteboard and taking away what you like to do, there's no taking away bucket getters. There's nothing you can do for DeMar DeRozan. He's just DeMar DeRozan. There's nothing you can do with Zach LaVine when he's cooking. He's just Zach LaVine. So at some point in time, you got to understand that. And again, the system is going to be what it is. And it's working, and it looks awesome right now. But it's not always going to be the case where the Bulls are going to be shooting 60% from three. It's not always going to be the case where Coby is shooting such a high percentage or Pat like that, because they're going to start taking away things that you like to do. So when teams start taking away stuff that you like to do, one thing they can't take away is somebody that create their own shot and drill that in your face. And you having two of those guys helps. Now, again, a lot of this is on Zach. And I think you bring up a great point, Matt, about him and Billy. Like, there's been those things floating around about Zach still being upset at Billy for benching him, still being upset about that from a year ago, even though, again, I thought he deserved it, but he's still being upset at those kind of things. But can winning always cures all? That's all I've ever learned and known. I'm a Bulls fan that grew up watching them in the 90s. All I know is winning through chaos. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I know. I know chaotic winning, and it cured everything. All the stuff the Bulls team was doing, oh my God. All right. Like, you saw The Last Dance. That's just, maybe 85% of it. You know what I mean? Like, there's another 15 of interviews from other players and other things that were going on that they didn't get into. Everything wasn't all roses and sunshine. But at the end of the day, when the playoffs came, everybody was locked in and ready to go. So that's just, everybody don't have to like everybody. I don't care about that. Do you want to win? Are we here to win? Does Zach give you a better chance of winning? Does he increase your chances of being a better team? That's what we're going to find out, Matt. And he's going to have to find out soon because, like I said, it's not just a detriment, and it doesn't just help the team with him buying into the system. It helps his trade value of him buying into a system and showing he can do this kind of thing.
Shout out to Taco Devil in the comments, which, by the way, fantastic name. I love the idea of a devilish taco. I would like a devilish taco, please. Do you have them? Can you send them to me? Taco Devil said, I think bringing back Zach might hurt our chemistry. I really think keeping him on the bench, even when he's healthy, is the best thing until we find a trade suitor, which I am kind of inclined to agree with you right now. But then there is the other part where, like, if the league looks into it and finds out that Zach actually is healthy, then they're going to get a penalty for not playing him. Like, you can make and I thought maybe they were exaggerating is I guess the correct word to use, the severity of this foot injury. And then I was like, he's out a week. And then I was like, he's out 3 to 4 weeks. And I was like, okay, I still don't know how real his foot injury is. I don't, but it's because I'm a skeptical asshole. But I mean, now the most recent reports we're hearing are he's starting to feel better and he's starting to do some things. He's starting to move. He's not like sprinting and cutting yet, but like he might be back soon. Yeah. We'll see. AKA with a super chat chiming into the Zach conversation. Appreciate you, AK. Saying Zach being back in the lineup is fine, but the 20 or so shots he'll take need to come from Coby at point and as decision maker. The other players whom have taken a step forward need to not defer to Zach. I think that's well said. Meanwhile, Dan Mill in the comments with a super chat. Shout out, Dan, saying the Pistons are sinking. Any LaVine trade ideas? I believe, didn't they tonight tie the NBA record with their 26th consecutive loss, Dave?
That is absolutely right and correct, Matthew.
I mean, first of all, shout out to the Pistons. Like, wow. Incredible. That is hard to do. 26 straight losses?
Let's go for the record. Let's go for it all, baby. Why stop here?
There 2 wins.
2 wins.
Game against our beloved Bulls.
This is very early.
I mean, we talked, I think, on an episode sometime after all of the Zach trade stuff first broke about potentially a Pistons trade involving Jaden Ivey. I think a lot of Bulls fans are keen on that idea. Yeah. I am now just not really sure how desperate the Pistons are to make some sort of move to try to, A, improve their basketball team, and B, assuage their fan base. Did you see Pistons fans also pulled a me at their most recent embarrassing home loss, and we're chanting a certain something down towards the court in betwixt, raining them with booze. Do you think the Pistons could be a desperate enough entity to be like, okay, what do you want for Zach LaVine? Because we gotta do something. Because that's the only way I can see the Pistons talking themselves into doing that and giving up one of these young pieces they have that still has so much potential. Whereas Zach, he's a player who's in his prime. You know what you're getting with Zach. Like, skills, warts, and all. You know who he is, and he's got the contract attached to his name.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on if they want to salvage something, from this season, or if they just saying, screw it, we're going to the lottery again. Now, keep in mind, they're going to the lottery again anyway. But if they really want to go for it, how bad do they really want to go?
They're already there. They've already sent their team representative to the NBA draft lottery location.
This is true. He already got his suit picked out and everything. He will be there live. He might as well get a sleeping bag and just go ahead and chill right there. They'll be there. They're representing, all right? So it just, again, depends on what they feel about this team, because there was just so much promise from this team, Matt. Just so much promise. Even when the Bulls played them, you saw Durant and how he looked, and Thompson how he looked, and Cade Cunningham, and just they looked solid. Like, even watching them, I can't remember what last game I watched. Oh, Utah. Watching them when they played Utah, and I'm sitting there watching it like, man, this team has some talent. Like, they have some skill. They just can't execute, and they couldn't stop anybody. And then at some point in time, they just were like, screw it. Like, we don't really care anymore. So does injecting Zach into that make that better? I don't think so. I don't think it makes it better. I don't know, Matt. If they want to send me some assets, I'm all about the assets if we're going to trade Zach LaVine. So I'm going to need some assets, not not players, but I'm more interested in the actual assets that I can get back. Because trading him means I'm gonna go younger, and might as well. Fine, great. I'm cool with that. Whatever we get back for that, great. Jaden Ivey, I've always liked coming out of college. I enjoy Jaden Ivey very, very much. Sending him here, I'm not against it, but he's another guy, Matt, that has to have the basketball for him to be effective. He's got to have the ball. So is he going to be comfortable, okay, coming off the bench, and being that guy? Because coming off the bench, he can be that. Give him the ball and let's see him work. But will he be ball dominant? Will he be able to buy into the system? You'll be asking, I guess, the same questions you're asking Zach LaVine right now. So I don't know. I can go either way with it. But if the question is Zach going, would I rather keep Zach or actually make this trade right now? Oh, you got to tell me what I'm getting, from Detroit, because I don't really see that I would do that unless you're giving me some awesome assets back. And then I'm like, okay, great. Let's go in and make that move, man. So, yeah, it's a heck of a dilemma for Detroit. And let's see if they're desperate enough, Matt, to offer that up.
Dan with a follow-up comment from a super chat saying, Billy Donovan and LaVine is like a toxic couple, like a winless Shaq and Kobe. Wow.
Damn.
Interesting comparison.
Yeah.
Well, and like you said, Kobe and Shaq were never best buds.
Yeah.
They put a lot of their shit to the side to win.
Yes.
And did it pretty darn successfully. Three-peat. I'd call that successful.
Yeah.
All right. We got to give one more quick shout out to our friends at Circa. Then we'll come back, wrap up. A few. I think we have a few super chats we haven't gotten to yet, and then some holiday cheer. Speaking of holiday cheer, you know what always puts me in a good mood, Dave?
Tell me.
Winning money, gambling on sports. It's the best.
That does put you in a good mood.
Be sure to download and try out that new Circa Sportsbook Illinois app because you're going to get great odds and value every bet you make. There you have the tight money line splits and use that low hold model. Always striving to start with that minus 110 odds on any and all game spreads, any and all over-under spreads. 110, not 115, not 120, 110. That's where it belongs. That's where Circa keeps it. They also don't limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limit, unlike other books who do limit winning players. They encourage their bettors to not only try out their app, but try the other ones because they're fairly certain that what you will find is that when you use that Circa app, you will find the best odds, the best values, the best bets, the best betting experience compared to all of their competitors. They also have real people in their customer service department, not robots, not the little robot dog that does flips that is maybe under your Christmas tree that you're going to open tomorrow or on Monday. No, their customer service department is not a robot dog. It is a human person made of human. Who will solve your problems for you if you have any. We know the staff at Circa; they are incredible people, and they are the true definition of excellent customer service. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also, be on the lookout for their various watch parties, tailgates, Circa events, fun stuff. If you or someone you know may have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
Are you?
I think so. All right, let's see. Any super chats we haven't gotten to yet, Joe? You can throw them up there. I'll scroll through and see if Chris Davis wants to know with a $5 super chat, and then I'll come back to that later one, Joe. Anyone else pissed off that Billy took out our bigs with Jared Allen still on the floor? So we'll address that a little bit, when you chat with us as far as Billy, Billy tried everything. He tried all of the bigs. He tried no bigs. None of it worked.
Everything.
Larry Strickland with a $9.99 super chat. Thanks, Larry. Saying to my CHGO Bulls crew, Merry Christmas to you all. Keep your chimneys open for a Bulls transformation. Just not these next years. It's like, things are looking up.
They are.
Oh, I don't believe you.
All it took was one loss. That's it.
Also, as I was reading it, I thought it was going to say Bulls Transformer. And I was like, oh my God, I want a Bulls Transformer coming down my chimney this Christmas. I don't know what a Bulls Transformer is, but I want one.
Yo, and real quick, and real quick, Matt, like, you really saw that back to the Zach conversation we were just having. You really saw it because Cleveland, what they did was allow Alex Caruso to be the guy. They said, Caruso, go ahead. 1-on-1. You want to drive? You want to shoot? It's on you. Go ahead, buddy. And no, it's not going to work that way. So again, you got to have bucket getters, guys. Like, you can't overlook that because your system is working so far. You got to have bucket getters when teams start figuring you out.
Yeah. AK with a $9.99 super chat saying, how concerned should Bulls fans be given with Zach and Torrey Craig out of the lineup and others playing heavy minutes? Fatigue and tired legs will be the theme moving forward. I mean, I think tonight was definitely, that's why I said at the beginning of the show, it's a schedule loss. 4th and 6 nights. This team has played more games than any team in the NBA. With Zach and Torrey being out, well, Zach might come back in the not too distant future. So there's that. Also, I think you get yourself a couple days rest, and then you get back out there and you keep playing. Like, you're an NBA player, damn it.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear fatigue. I don't. I was willing to hear it tonight and even use it as a not excuse, but reason for the team's poor performance tonight. Because chronologically, calendar-wise, it made sense.
Yeah.
It's not. I will never be okay with it as a long-term excuse.
Yeah. Agreed. No, he's absolutely right. You're going to get 2 days off here, and then when the New Year's comes, you're going to get 2 more. So, yeah.
What did Tibbs always say? We've got more than enough to win.
More than enough to win.
We got more than enough. Especially if more than enough includes a 60-year-old Taj Gibson. Did you see Taj like just gassed as hell in that game?
I loved him talking after the game, dog. He was like, I was tired. The young boys were laughing at me because I played 13 minutes and I was gassed. And Tim's like, whatever, you want to play, you're going to play.
Dude.
He'll play another 40 minutes. He don't care.
Hilarious. I love Taj. What a wonderful.
Like he said, he's the new Kirk Thomas. He said, I'm the new Kirk Thomas on this team. That's what he said.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Okay. Any other super chats we haven't gotten to yet, Joe? Or is that all of them?
Did we read
Larry one I said? Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's everything. Shout out to everybody in the comments who is wishing us and each other happy holidays. It's not, not the perfect way for Bulls fans to enter the little holiday weekend, but we persevere. We'll try again on Tuesday. And hopefully everybody out there in Bulls Nation enjoys some nice, relaxing time with their families, with their loved ones over the coming days. Dave, what are you doing? You going to have yourself some chill downtime, hang out with the fam?
Yeah, so usually I get a caterer and, get the meals for everybody. But this year, my sister wants to cook. So I'm going to buy all the groceries for her to cook. And she's going to do that up. And we're going to eat on Christmas. So, yeah, that's going to be cool. And then the next day, I'm going to go to the Bulls game. Take my nephew to the Bulls game. He's never been. So he's always wanted to go. And
I'm so jealous.
To his first. Yeah, it's going to his first one.
That's a big life event, man.
Yeah, he's very excited.
Your first Bulls game, your first trip to the Madhouse to see the Bulls. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's
happy
very
for
excited.
You guys. Enjoy that. I tried. I campaigned with my sister and my brother-in-law, and they're like, well, it would be perfect if they have like a matinee game, around the holidays. And I'm like, no, they're both night games while they're in
Stay up with Uncle Matt.
I mean,
tear up the town.
So you miss your bedtime by a few hours. What's the big deal?
Because you're going to be asleep in the morning. You don't have to deal with that. I get where you're at. I understand where you're at, Matthew Peck.
Yeah.
That is Uncle, ladies and gentlemen.
But this uncle is getting up really early tomorrow morning to go with my nieces to the Shed Aquarium to look at the fishies. So I'm very excited about that.
Well, then let's get you some rest.
Yes, sir. Let's get out of here. Everybody have a wonderful holiday. Stay safe. Stay warm. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your company. We'll be back on Tuesday. Bulls back in action. Homestand continues against Atlanta, I believe.
Atlanta is right. Yes.
A very winnable game. Until then, read our guy, Will Gottlieb, on allchgo.com. Follow him on Twitter, Will_Gottlieb. Big Dave is at BWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck, our pal and producer. Joseph Spathis.
Oh.
He is at Joey Spathis on Twitter. Shout out to him and his fam. Hope you guys enjoy the holiday weekend, Joe. Hiding there in the background. And again, to all of you out there, Bulls Nation, we appreciate you every day. And hope you all have a wonderful holiday with you and yours. Much love. We'll see you all Tuesday. Merry. See you really good.
Yeah. Love y'all.
We all silly like the mayor.